will you say that one more time? I actually just started recording this because I want to go through later and watch it again so I can like
Yeah, sure.
keep learning from it.
So you see those 8 zones, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you look at them, your job for the landing phase of everyone is to always pressure them, always, and trying to be as everywhere as possible on the map because you cause enemy to face pressure and play more scared.
Mm-hmm.
So when they play more scared, it's easier for you and your team to play the game out the lane out. So that's like your main objective. While farming, like you have to be efficient in your jungle. There's stuff I saw like sometimes you didn't know when to back, when to go for which camp because sometimes you took like a weird path and then you were like, okay, I will go to this wolves, then I will go back mid, I will go back there.
Yeah.
And it's like at one point you just have to, take your time and understand why you're doing this camp, right?
Okay.
And what you should be doing next. Like that's always something you have to be thinking. What should
Okay.
I be doing next? Where should I be in the map? Which zone should I pressure that would benefit my teams?
Yeah.
That's really important. So that's pretty much what you do for the laning phase, and yeah, and then after that, it's all about you will group with your team, and you're just gonna be at your best for team fight. What is your role in the fight? Do you have front line? Should I be a back line? Depending on what champion you're playing, um, is it a good time to go for like should be fighting at this place, or we should go at this other place because after that we can get dragon. We have more AoE, we have more CC, we're gonna be better fighting in a small spot, instead of fighting in lane, you should fight in a small little spot in the jungle where you can just all AoE CC them,
Yeah.
like a Mumu. You caught them off guard in a small spot, you're gonna hit everyone.
Right.
So just thinking like that, like everything you're doing something, there has to be a reasoning behind it.
Got it.
And
Got it.
after that, it's all about practicing and trying to get better mechanically. So mechanic, it's pretty much like, okay, you should know how much damage you do when you're fed. You should know how much damage you do when you're not fed. You should know your build pattern. You should know why you're taking those summoners. Example, if you're in a lane, a jungle, it's simple. You will most likely flash and
Smite.
smite.
Right.
Some people, for some summoner, for some champion, go with an exhaust or go with an ignite on top of the smite. But for you, it's pretty much like flash and smite, right?
Right.
So also there's that. In terms of mechanics, and then also you have to know like how much damage I can do with those abilities, like just like a EQ with Wukong, or positioning, how you position yourself when you go in, when to go in. Like, they use their main CC, I can just straight up go in the backline, I'm fine.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just small thinking like that. This is called mechanic. Knowledge, it's all about where to go, what to do at what time. Like just thinking what you do in the game.
Mm.
Mechanics, it's something that you practice, 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 and get to know numbers. It's logical. Uh, and sometimes it's not logical when you're just trying to think of what you're going to do. So, knowledge wise, sometimes it's more complicated.
Mm.
You need to have more than just logic. You have to have a better reasoning. It's not just logic, it's rationality. Rationality? Is that how you say it? Being
Um.
rational?
Yeah. Kind of. Yeah. Yeah. There's no good word for it, but that's being
Yeah.
rational is a good way to put it.
Yeah, because logical and irrational, it's two different things.
Mm.
Kind of similar, but it's not. Anyway, so in terms of like knowledge, that's one I really want to focus on this clip. And mechanics is something that we can take another time for.
Okay. Sounds good. So we're at 83%. We got about 6 minutes left, so we're almost there for the video.
Okay.
And then I'll load it into that YouTube link on Gaze and see if we can get it working.
Let me see if there's something I can talk before. Oh yeah. When it comes down to pressure, how important it is, the way you can compare it, so your brain understand it pretty easily. It's like if you lose pressure, it's like if you're playing in the dark, and then eventually they pop out of nowhere, and your brain doesn't have time to recognize it and to understand why.
Hmm.
So the best way I can make you understand what will happen after that you realize that, it's the same as when you're trying to dodge a skill shot. Okay, if you're very far, well, if you're far away from Caitlyn Q, by
Hmm.
example, you gonna choose any sides. Either you go far from it and you're fine, or you move left or right. You're gonna choose, right? You have plenty of time because it's from very far away, right?
Right.
But if you're really close to it, you know you're not gonna have time to choose which side you're gonna dodge, right?
Right.
So you're gonna go with your reflex. And when it comes down to just using purely your reflex, it can be good and sometimes it can be really bad.
Yeah.
And when you just use that example, uh, your reflex is always go a little bit on the right down. Just like you're like example, when you're kiting, you're going down.
Hmm.
Imagine you do that, but you do like a small step back and right. So that example, that could be one of your reflex. It's different for different people. But what I like to do, right, is if you go in a game and you try to skill shot on someone and you see, oh, his reflex when it comes down to dodging, it's always down right.
Yeah.
So every time I'm gonna like be close to him and do a skill shot that I know he has time to dodge a little, well then I'll always hit it there, and you won't understand why I always hit it there.
Hmm.
And that's a reflex. I mean, that's a mechanic that a support use. They remember that they throw a first skill shot and they see how they dodge.
Hmm.
But if they're very far, they have time to think.
Yeah.
But you know that's why it's important to know where they are and have vision, because you have time to think. You don't need like an hour to think. You need like a split second or two or three. You don't need that much, because eventually when you have so much knowledge, it become like almost like a reflex, and that's the goal. It's like you can't. It's not a reflex, but you want your knowledge to be kind of like a reflex.
Sure. Like I found that the more I play League, the more I kind of
Mhm.
feel things rather than think about things. You know, like
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, like you kind of like feel. You kind of feel when you're going into a good fight. You kind of feel
Mhm.
when you're finding yourself in like a
Yeah.
hard, like a not optimal situation.
And that, after all, it's not just your reflex. There's a small part of your knowledge, but the problem with it is at one point is you just like stop your thinking. You're just like, okay, for you, you see it as your reflex, and you see it, you think it's you thinking, but it's not. It's just your reflex. So imagine if you put thinking through it, and then after all, your thinking is so fast, like it recognizes so much because you have so much knowledge in the game.
Hmm.
Thinking is going to be so quick, it's going to take a split a second. It will
Yeah.
feel like a reflex.
Hmm.
And that's the goal, because a reflex, there's nothing faster. Like thinking takes more time than a reflex, right?
Right. Right.
But after all, it's better to think, because if you just use your reflex, it's always going to be the same thing.
Hmm.
It's always going to be around the same thing. And that's not what you want. And that's why thinking is really important. And that is something that comes down with anything in life, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're
Definitely.
taking a decision in life, it's better to think than just go with your reflex, right?
Right. Right.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
So I think it's important that before we go through the Vaughn, you understand that knowledge is really powerful. Mechanics, it doesn't take as much as knowledge, and it
Hmm.
doesn't do as much as knowledge. Knowledge suffocate people mind, and that's more powerful than just go straight up in a 1v1 and win.
Yeah. Okay. That's really good to know.
Yeah.
And it sounds like an easier game to play in a sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's kind of clear once you get that knowledge, it's more clear what you're supposed to be doing and why you're supposed to be doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that sounds awesome, man. I'm looking
And
forward
also
to it.
mechanically, you cannot, like, example, I put you with 5 bots with 5 stun and you're in 80 carry. You're not gonna be able to 1v5 even if you're a god mechanically.
Yeah.
But you can suffocate them. You can make them do different bullshit, in the game. I don't know, like, a tactic which it's like, oh, you can like split the bots, and one go in the jungle, one go
Yeah.
follow you, and then after they're bug and they're stuck in jungle, I don't know, and then you just kill 2 people or something
Yeah.
because of your mechanics or whatever. But your knowledge wise is the reason why it worked out.
Yeah. Cool.
Knowledge is the most important, because mechanics, everyone can have them.
All right. Well, we're at 99% here on the video, so we're about to get this rolling.
Nice. And
Um.
also to understand like how diamond work. because I think it's important to know. Because some people are afraid to rank. They're like, "Oh man, I'm actually gonna start playing against better people." You have to understand, like, people are not good at the game until like master, even that. Sometimes I would say even just challenger.
Mm,
But I'll tell you what diamond is. Diamond is just better mechanically. Those people probably play more than you overall.
yeah.
No matter the time frame, they just play more. And that's mostly because a lot of people, they do just like you. They just play with habits. They have bad habits, and they just use their reflex. And oh, okay, that's how I'm
Mm,
gonna play. That's it.
yeah.
But and some people like the Diamond Five, it's like they're good mechanically, like decent, good enough, and they don't really use their brain still. They just like learn a few trick here and there, and
Mm-hmm.
they play really gritty. So their decision making are really poor. So decision making are poor, but they're good mechanically.
Mm,
And when
yeah.
it comes down to iDiamond, it's pretty much that a little bit better decision making. So when it comes down to like big team fight, they're stronger. They're better at that.
Yeah.
But yet they don't know how to suffocate your teammates and make them like if they get really pressured hard early, they don't know what's going on. They don't
Mm,
know. And that's why I've been able to be master because I pressure so much um, three zone, right? Like all the top. So you see the rifting, right? Whatever.
yeah.
Pressure the Baron pit. So all this, I'm ungankable. I pressure the top side jungle of the red,
Mm-hmm.
and I also pressure Earth jungle, so we never get counter gank.
Yeah.
And even more, I TP bot as a top lane, and I pressure that lane and the dragon pit. So just by myself, I control like five to six zone
Mm,
out of eight, and that's something that even in Diamond One they don't know how to play against that.
mm,
And one thing why I'm even stronger as a mechanic, you have to understand power spikes. So you play normally, and when you have your power spike items, so I don't know, level Corki example, right?
yeah.
It's a small, it's a fast example, but Corki level 6 with no, I mean Corki with Trinity Force. Okay, that's a power spike, probably the strongest he has, right? What to do with it? Okay, get turrets because you get the Sheen proc, the team fight. Let's go. That's at that moment for the a split 2 minutes and 30 seconds that you just abuse that 2 minutes and 30 and trying to get most out of it.
Mm,
Even if it's just by going back in your lane, I don't want you to freeze it. Or if you freeze it, it's because you have a lot of pressure in your dragon and their bot side jungle. So they're gonna, the jungle will come and gank and you get 2 kills.
yeah.
Otherwise, you pressure, you get that top, you get that turret, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you have to think, okay, am I in a good position? That's what I'm talking about with decision making. It's like, okay, example as an AD carry. It's like, are we winning the bot side zones? Like when I say bot side zone, I mean your jungle, your bot side jungle, their bot side jungle, and the dragon
Mm,
river.
yeah.
And if you have two of them secure, which I don't know, your jungle and your dragon, that's good enough to fight 2v2. And then if you have three, normally you're fine for anything, right?
Mm,
So you can just go all in and do fucking destroy them. But when you have two zone control, which is dragon in your jungle, it doesn't mean you're not gonna get gank. With three, you're fine. With three, you're fine. Like legit, if you control three, like your jungle is probably dealing with him, or he's the other side of the jungle, right?
yeah.
But with two, you still can get ganked by their jungle. Their jungle will come to the lane and they will make a play there.
Mm,
So you still have to worry, but at least with the amount of pressure there is, it's still enough to fight
yeah.
and to be safe. So after that, it's like you understand like just that like that's just small thinking, but you understand how pressure affect your thinking.
Yeah, I think I see what you're saying. I mean, you're basically saying, I mean, you're basically saying that every lane kind of has access to a certain amount of zones, and the more
Yeah,
zones you control that you have access to, the more likely you are to just like a
play
win
safe and
right
have freedom.
right exactly to do what you want. Like if you've got on this map where it says J for red side, if
Yeah.
you're like bot lane and you're like on blue side, but you've got control and wards, like if you're doing well in lane and your supporters come up and place like a ward like right near the blue buff bush and also the bush like up near wolves, you know, then you have a lot of control to like do just about whatever you want in lane because
Yeah.
you can have like
And just that, as you said, just like that, you have a ward at their blue, right?
right
As an example, right? Just that gives so much. It's not you think oh it's just a word. It doesn't pressure the word pressure. You feel like aggression or something. Pressure is like no. That's a good a word there. It's like oh okay I see this information. Example I see she's doing her blue right. Oh I see. Then after she's going to her grump. Okay so either after her grump either she comes by the lane to do a gank or either she do her wolf. But
yeah
you ping it so someone just ping it. Example you spot it because the bot lane pressure it, right?
right
You just ping, oh, he's there. Okay, what do you do?
yeah
Then example, you are at your wolf, so the left side, example, you're at your wolf. What do you do? Right? If you want to make it play, right, you have to make sure, example, if you want to meet their jungle at the wolves, example, decide to go at the wolves, right?
yeah
Let's say he has his blue and you ping it, right? And then you see your mid lane push. So he's push and the other is back or something.
yeah
And then you want to make a play. Before you put your mind to it, make sure your mid lane or whatever lane, whatever you make the play, and you're the closest to that place, the laner, like the closest laner to that place, make sure he has good mana, good HP,
mm,
and that he knows your intention. So you ping it already like I'm on my way or something.
yeah
He has to know before you commit to it. It's really important because you're gonna get a lot of frustration otherwise. If you already commit and you expect them to follow like instantly, no, it actually normally takes at least 15 seconds.
So let me ask you this. So like say I'm blue side and I see the enemy jungler in at their blue buff. So I see them
Yeah.
at like half hit HP. Okay, it's like
Yes.
second blue buff. They're at half HP and I see them go to wolves, right? And say I'm
Mhm.
kind of like at my raptors and I'm like, "Oh, I can make a play here." Right?
Yes.
So, but say the mid lane's even. Say both mid laners are like at half health and half mana. Should I make
Yes.
that play or is that too risky?
Okay, so you have two ways, right? Like I think the right play is just to look how the lane. So you said both are even, right?
Yeah.
And how's the minion waves? How is
Yeah.
it? Is it still it's even as well?
Yeah, let's just say it's even.
Okay, if everything is even, right? It's just ping that you're going there, right?
Yeah.
Just ping. That's the first step, okay? And how's the bot lane? That's something important as well.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
understand? It's not just your mid lane
Right.
because it's in the middle of something. It's two things. It's not just like, oh, you're going to I don't fucking know the bush in front of the wolf, right? It's legit in the middle of anything. Like if you trying to exit after that, because you can make the play just straight up 1v1 and just let your mid know that your mid and your bot that you're going there.
Yeah.
You can make the 1v1 play because after all, like the guy has less HP and you can mechanically kill him because he has less HP. Blah 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 blah. So you can make that play, but how are you gonna run out after? And
Yeah.
that's something uh, that you have to figure out, and that comes down to how much pressure you have, where you have the most ward. Um, but I think you just do your Raptors and whatever you see them, you go straight up there, you ping. Just make sure your team knows
Yeah.
your bot lane and your top lane. Your mid lane and your bot lane, and then you just go whatever way. Like you have two options. It always depends, right? You cannot just say that. It always depends how the lanes are.
Sure.
If
Sure.
also that after that, let's say bot lane are about to lose the tower, you can after make a play there. You can take the whole jungle, the whole bottom jungle. Example, if you leave the ground, you take it because he loses a lot of XP and all the pressure there
Right.
because he has nothing to do there. So he's not gonna come over there for a whole like a good minute and a half and even more, depending how good the jungler is. But someone that's gonna be efficient is gonna be there for every camp that comes. But he's gonna do them quick. But still he's gonna be there. And there means pressure.
Yeah.
But like just taking it. That's something I saw in your game at one point early. I will come to that point.
Okay.
When
We
you kill at one point, you went mid and you killed Zach
yeah.
and then you went back to your wolf or something
Yeah.
when you could just put a ward at their raids, get the raids, get out of here. You could just get that. That would start pressuring their bot jungle
Mm.
and give an indicator of, oh, Zach is gonna be there at one time. Like your ward has a minute
Yeah.
to detect it. Eventually, like if he's a decent jungler, at least decent, he's gonna come by that 1 minute.
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, he's the other side of the map completely.
I see. So like in those situations, like that was an opportunity where I could have pressured by going to get his raptors or
Yes.
something, and
Because instead you just took a kill. That's it. You
right,
get more gold. That's it. More goal and more pressure mid, right?
right. But I could
But
have
that's just
pressured.
one zone. You
Right.
could pressure another zone, and then after that you could have took the, how do you call it, the scuttler,
Yeah.
the scuttler at the dragon. That's another zone. That's 3 zone.
Mm-hmm.
You see the difference instead
Yeah.
of just like, okay, I'm taking that and then I'm going out back to my wolves.
Yeah.
You
I
could have
see.
taken extra zone at least. And it's better to take a zone from another team than just take back your zone.
Yeah.
Understand? That's something too.
It's
It's
better
more
to take
risky to take someone.
it's better to take a zone from another team than to take one of your zones.
Yes. So example, right? You sometimes it's you don't need to take all your buffs. Sometimes like like, oh, he's ganking level 2 bottom lane or something.
Yeah.
Oh, instead of going for my blue buff, I'm gonna go and take his red or something. You understand what I mean?
Right.
It's like you can take from him. It's better when you can and when it's safe.
Yeah.
And late game, sometime like let's say middle game, sometime you're winning and you going back to your jungle. It's like, why? Don't do that.
Mm.
Go to their jungle and just keep that pressure up.
Yeah.
You understand?
Okay.
And then it's gonna close on them at one point. Like you also have to see it as a barrier. Okay, have you played H1Z1 before?
I know, but I've watched a lot of streams of it.
Okay, you see the gas, how it closed on people.
Mm.
The gas, the green gas.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, that thing. At one point, the gas come closer and closer and make the circle like less bigger.
Right.
And people have to remain in that circle where there's no gas. But that's what you want to do when you're ahead and you want the early pressure. You try to keep that pressure up. You don't want to just go back to your. So you see on your screen. Let's say your blue side.
Yeah.
Okay. So you want early pressure. You guys are taking all the tier ones or whatever, the mid tier ones.
Yeah.
You should like after you come back there, whatever, make a play for tier 2, go around that, and take the jungle. So pressure their jungle. So you have the pressure remain up.
Mm.
If you instead decide, oh, I'm gonna do 1 or 2 camp on my side, you let the enemy come back to their jungle and take pressure back, while you just get back your pressure in your jungle. But why do you need it if you know that they can't even get out of their jungle?
Yeah.
They can't even get in their jungle. I mean,
I see what
you
you're
understand?
saying. Yeah. Yeah. I see. Because that makes sense because I feel like I do a pretty decent job of like getting like early like kills or pressure in lane for people, but I don't feel like I usually translate that into like more pressure in the enemy jungle enough, and that could really help me. Like I see what you're saying now.
Yep.
I mean, just like taking like wolves or taking like wraiths or raptors right off of like ganking the mid lane. Not only like can I get that camp, but if I smite it, I can also like carry around the buff and know where like more wards are and deny exp to the jungler and stuff like
Exactly.
that. Right.
Exactly. And so it's also like you use of your smite that I've seen. That's a little bit more mechanical. Like why you use it. You have to understand why you're using it at one place.
Right.
The most used are pretty much like either you get ground because overall it gives you more health in one way. Because you lose less, you do more damage, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So in one way, it's like defensive as is aggressive buff, and also the one for the wards. It's really really important because see that way when they don't know where you at, that's where it's scary.
Yeah.
As a jungler, you don't know where you're gonna get ganked, when, where. You start freaking out,
Right.
and that's what we call pressure. So just killing a ward in your jungle. Gather back. It's not just like, okay, well, I'm in my jungle. So example, right? You're in the jungle. I think that's going to be a good example for you to understand. Example, you're at
right.
your blue side, bottom side, and you're doing your raids, okay?
Right.
And there's a ward in that little bush near the raids, okay?
Right.
And then you come back to that zone, you secure that zone, right? So you're like, okay, that's mine, right? But as long as there's something in it, it's even. See it as even. It's like not mine, not my jungle, not his jungle.
Mm.
Because you're there, yes, it's your place. If something happened, you can react to it. But there's a ward there.
Right.
That ward is someone. It's powerful, a fucking word.
Mm.
Just why you see mid lane bringing pinks and stuff. A pink can just give them a free kill. It's how easy it is. You just control your minion wave, and you bring pink, just a pink, that just make you lose so much in pressure, more goal, everything,
Yeah.
and that's how you snowball. But what I mean, it's like if you get back your jungle and there's no ward in it, that's completely your jungle. But if there's something living in it, a ward, something,
Yeah.
even like Callista W, it's something. Kill it.
Yeah. It doesn't belong to you completely.
Yeah.
So is this what you're talking about with wards and pressure? Is this I've still never understood why trackers is a good item for jungler. Um, is it just because of this vision you're talking about and the pressure that provides? I mean, I know like it can be good
I'm
on.
not a big jungler. Let me actually look at that. You're gonna have a fucking a fun time, my friend, on soon because to remain a good player, you have to keep in track with the patch, right?
Yeah.
And you're gonna have a lot of things. Like jungle is the one that since they control everything in one way in the
Right.
20 minutes.
Right.
Now you can see it. You can like I make you visually understand what I'm talking about, like how you can control everything, and the everything is the zones. But to remain in control of the zones, you have to understand everything in the game itself, objective. But now they're bringing new dragons and new stuff,
Yeah. So
and
that
that's gonna be a lot of work for you, man.
is it.
Yeah, it will. It will. Just small details you know about the environment of the game will benefit you a lot if they don't know it. You said tracker knife.
Yeah. You can go.
Um,
You can go red smite, blue smite, or you can go tracker.
yeah, well, tracker is really good for that. Like junglers is probably one of the most that ward. They ward a lot because, as I said, you have a ward. It's pretty much as someone control the zone
Yeah.
for you, but uh, you can lose it, and pretty much like you don't see those on like champion like Grace. Why? Because those champions are no brain. It's brainless. Like okay, you need some mechanics, right?
Yeah.
But if you fight 1v1 a grave, you're most likely gonna die to it. So what they do is they don't need a ward. They don't need to just put a ward there. They come in your jungle. They counter gank. They force fight there to 1v1 you. And for them, it's like a ward, but it's more than a ward. It's like everywhere a ward.
Yeah.
So that's why you don't see many grays buying wards itself. But yeah, a tracker knife is for the kind of slow paced junglers because you have two kind of junglers, right? You have like the dinosaur. I like to compare with dinosaur. How do you call the one that eat the meat?
Uh. T Rex
All right, well those one you have like yeah, but herbivore, and
and
carnivore.
carnivore. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So carnivore junglers are the one that just force fight, and they they're ready to fight at any time at the point in the game, early. Like 5, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. They're forcing fight,
Right.
and they don't really need vision. They just go for it. Compare, otherwise you have herbivore where they need to grow. They need to farm a lot. Then after a while, where they farm a lot, they're strong. Amumu is one of them.
Yeah.
But to keep farming, you have to be safe. To be safe, you need to cause pressure somewhere to remain
Mm.
safe.
Yeah.
But now, just being safe, it's not good enough. You also need to pressure somewhere. You have to pressure more than just your jungle and a river. You need to
Yeah.
pressure lanes. You need to pressure their jungle. But as a Mumu, you don't have to go this deep. You only do it as a team movement, and that's why you're herbivore. You're like more passive.
Mm.
But as a jungle that can be aggressive, like Lee Sin, Rek'Sai, Rengar, um, which one else? Shaco. Uh, there's a shit ton of aggressive
Sure.
or carnivore. junglers. Those one they can just go there as a ward. Graves also, I forgot.
Yeah.
Even sometime Echo. But anyway, just saying like that's that's something also to keep in track where when warders are important. They're really important when you can always remain if you cannot remain in the jungle forever, you know?
Yeah.
Like if you're example, you remember that was it with you with the graves that were really fucking fed? The jungler graves and you had that dance after like 15 minutes or something?
I can't remember.
We won a game and you were Annie mid, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, that game or whatever. Why the Graves was forcing fight anywhere, even if it didn't make sense.
Oh, I
Why
do
did it
remember that
work
game.
out?
Yeah.
Yeah, why did it work out? Is because of that. Is because the amount of like it's a carnivore junglers and when he's feeding himself, he's unstoppable, right?
Yeah.
He can just remain there as a infinite ward in your jungle, and he's gonna force fight there, and you'll always win.
Right. I don't
But to
think I,
get back,
I don't think I'm
pardon me.
spending enough time in the enemy jungler when I have pressure. I think that's one of the things that like I need to be better
Yep,
about.
that's definitely one thing. But to remain in the jungle, it's like either your team is there as a herbivore jungle,
Yeah.
or as a carnivore jungle. You can remain there by yourself. You should be fine.
Hmm.
Sometime call back up when you have, but you have to be fed whatever or something, or at least enough to kill them.
Yeah.
All right, you have the video.
Guys, we have hey guys, we've got about 4 minutes left. Apparently I didn't know this, but after you upload a YouTube video, it has to do something called processing. And
Mm,
Alistar, just I don't have too much longer than 7:30, so we might have to get started
that's fine.
tonight, like with this, and then pick it up again another time, which I'd love to do.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Okay, cool, cool. So we got
At
about
least like there's a good important part you've learned.
yeah, definitely. This is yeah, so we got about 4 minutes left, and then we'll load this up, and then we'll take it from there. Yo,
Yep. If you have a question, ask me.
okay, I will. You got a recording of your game skill, case of kill, man.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, you can post it, man. People might want to check it out. I don't have time to look at it tonight. We're gonna look at a video that I shot a little bit ago, and Alistar is gonna just kind of walk through it with us. And we've been talking a lot about pressure and zones and how the game of League of Legends isn't really about winning fight and mechanics. I mean, that's part of it, but really it's about controlling zones and having pressure and how to
Yep.
do that. So we're gonna be going through exactly how to do that. Oh, your stats. Let's check that out, man. Oh shit, dude, it's not coming up for me. It says an error has occurred.
Me either. Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
I think it's that link's not working, dude. Was that ranked or was that a norm or something? 3 minutes. Oh my god, guys, it's gonna happen. We've been waiting so long. Holy shit, this took forever.
I'll
Loading.
try to fast forward that. So
Okay, loading
because
this.
you understood, you had the most important part. Like once you understand what I just said, it's easier to understand what I'm gonna say about the
Cool.
game.
Well, I'm glad this took some time. Then it was good to just kind of talk that out for a minute first.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I'm
Some
looking
people
forward.
are just like, oh, you gotta coach me. You gotta coach me on what I do bad or whatever.
Yeah,
But sometimes just to remotely understand what I'm gonna say, you need knowledge, and that knowledge you didn't have, right? You
right,
didn't know about the zone. It was not something existent for you, right?
right.
But for most people in high elo, it's something that most people have as a concept.
Mm,
And also, there's something I see when you play is sometimes you don't know where to go, what to do, and you're losing a lot of time.
yeah,
I think it's something you can use, not just like, oh, I'm gonna do that every game, because that's not how it works. As I told you with the pressure, it depends on a lot of things,
right.
how the lanes are going, how your lanes are going, and who's feeding, who's not feeding, who's winning their lanes.
Yeah,
Yeah, it depends on a bunch of factors. But you can watch on YouTube some Korean pros, right?
right.
Just see the jungle route and just trying to have like a clear idea of like why they're doing this at this moment.
Yeah.
That's it.
I think
And it's
it'll.
not just like do it. It's just mean like, okay, why they're doing it. And then eventually you will have so many examples in your head
Right.
that you will know what you do.
I think that's the part I'm missing is the why because like I can see
Yeah.
people doing this, but it doesn't like always translate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to this. 2 minutes, guys. We're so damn close. Are you on? Yo, Killman, are you on NA? That's what I'm searching. That's what I've been searching, dude.
And that's why I want to teach you knowledge, because knowledge is teachable. Mechanics, it's like it's weird. I can tell you a few tricks and that's it.
Yeah,
Because if I go too much in details, like, oh, you could dodge that way, like that, boom, bing, bang, boom.
yeah,
If I teach you that, you will get in the game and you will be so mechanical, you will be like a robot.
yeah.
You're gonna fucked up on so many other things.
Well, it's funny.
That
It's funny you say that because like I see people that like are in like we've seen a lot of players here, and there's a lot of players that come to the stream that duo queue, and I see some of them, and some of them are so amazing mechanically, but they can barely get out of gold 2 or gold 1. You know what I mean? Like sometimes I watch and I'm like, holy shit, you really did just 1v5 that team, and that's amazing.
uh-huh.
But most of the time, I'm looking at their choices about like where they're deciding to like 1v5 and like where the rest of our team is, and I'm like, this is a terrible idea. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
and that's something you have to keep in track also. How to recognize a good player and a bad player. It's not because you have done 1v5 that he's a godlike. You have to see other factors in the game,
Right,
like how bad is the enemy, how are they trolling or they whatever, how fed is he,
right, right.
sometimes it's not because he's fed that he's good. Maybe like everything went in his favor and everything.
Yeah, right,
And maybe they even worse than him.
right,
So you don't exactly know what happened, but don't be just like, oh wow, he 1v5. Don't be that guy. Like
right.
try to think like, okay, was this decision making that he took there was really good? To be fair, was it good?
Right, and that's what I think. Like, like I mean, it is cool when someone 1v5s. I think
Yeah.
that deserves credit, but at the same time, like, how that ties into like the rest of the map and like what we need in that moment. And it only seems to work like 30 or 40% of the time. So 34% of the time, you're like, wow, that's really amazing. But the higher you go up in rank, that quickly drops off, and then it's like you're winning 50% of your games, losing 50 in gold 1 because this is the way you keep doing it.
But why don't you see pro that don't 1v? Why we don't see pros that 1v5? Like show just 1v5,
Um,
because that's not something that they're looking for. It's too risky. It's not.
right,
It's a even if you're really fucking fed.
right,
It's you could be used somewhere else, pressure some other place, and then after that, group with your team and be even more powerful.
exactly. Like,
And just be by yourself. And people that do 1v5 are just people that are selfish and they just want to look good. So what I'm trying to mention is also playing as a team is much more powerful and much. You are a better player if you're doing that than just trying to be that flashy guy.
yeah, right, absolutely. And like that's the way I see it. Like, if you're almost able to consistently 1v3 their team because you're so fed, if you grouped with your team, you'd be able to 1v5 every time. You know what I mean? And
Yep,
apply better pressure that way. All right,
exactly.
this says
And
95%.
also 95%. Okay, good.
Yeah, we're close.
And also like the mindset, you have better mindset than most people that play League of Legends, and even pro players. Just saying.
Well, thanks, dude.
There's pro players that are pros with bad mindset, and they're not healthy at all. The mindset are not healthy at all,
Yeah,
and that's why I think like League of Legends should be at that point where there's people in the staff that they work with their mind, the mindset, anything that is related to the health of the mind. There's even like the food, like there's cook and everything, but if you keep in track with the VODs and everything of their of TSM or whoever, they always say like how they're eating bad. They're always eating. Uh, they don't really eat good stuff. They eat restaurant and delivery stuff. So
right.
it's not at that level yet, but having a good mindset and also not being tired. That's something I always mention a lot. Your mindset is really important, but also when you're tired, you shouldn't play. You should avoid playing, because when you're tired, you don't. It's like if you play on reflex and you're tired, it's like you're tired. Your reflex is gonna be fucking bad, right?
Right, right,
Example, you're really tired and you're taking your car to go home, right?
right.
And you have a whole 45 minutes game, but now it's got 45 minutes road, traveling or whatever, and you're really fucking tired. Do you think like your reflex is gonna be good
Right.
when you're driving? And it's important to have good reflex, even though you're thinking first, but have your reflex on the side.
Where's my window? Holy shit, I've got so many windows open. Oh, here it is. Okay. Um, damn, it's like stuck at 95%. It should be done though. Come on, YouTube.
One
Holy
day,
crap. Holy
one day.
crap. We're so close. We're so
But I'm
close.
telling you, if you get out of those bad habits and actually look to improve, you will get better much quicker.
Dude, I want to. I mean, I really, I really want to be to Diamond by the end of this season for real.
Yeah. Also, like you could be Zo queuing with someone else that improves your win rate. And now, do you understand why? I mean, why Zo queue can help you? Because if he's good, right? Like example, when you Zo queue with me, you're like most likely sure that I'm gonna pressure two zones,
Right.
and by pressuring, I mean winning that zone. So I'm gonna control at least two or three zones by myself, while you can just focus on the other side of the map and pressure those other zones that we're missing. So we most likely always winning zones, like most of them.
Hmm.
They probably have like one or two zones out of nine, while we have the rest.
Right.
So when it comes to grouping, we just destroy them because also mechanically we're better than even you. You're playing in Plat 5.
Hmm.
You're not War Plat 5. Mechanically, just mechanic by itself, you weren't your diamond.
Hmm.
But it's not, if it was just mechanic, everyone would be diamond plus.
Right.
Well, maybe not, but do you understand what I mean?
A lot
There
more
would be more
people.
diamond.
Right.
That's why like there's
What's up,
something
Grandma
more
G?
important to it.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep.
Hmm. Well, I mean, this has been really helpful. I really want to get this video loaded so you can take a look at some of this stuff,
I
and we can.
just hope that you come back and you always remember that the game like should be thinking and not just being on your reflex and have those bad habits. Just like keep in mind that thinking is the key and just trying to understand why you're doing this at a certain time, even if it makes you die because you took too long to like react. Just at least you understand your mistakes. That's why people review their mistakes, because when you review your mistakes, the next time you do it, you're gonna do it better, and you're also gonna have you're gonna remember how you died the last time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah. Does it happen to you where like you know how you die so much, and when you're going in that same spot, you have like a deja vu, and you know, oh, I shouldn't be doing that,
right,
right?
right.
But that's one of the thing I'm talking about, where you have those reflex that comes empty for those kind of stuff anyway.
Hmm.
Are we at 100%?
1 second. It just told me that I just need to verify this account real fast, which I'm doing right
Okay,
now,
sure.
and then I think I just need to go to my video manager. Yep, here we go. Here we go. Activate this video.
All I can say is like challenger junglers by themselves can at 10 minutes in they can hold 6 zones.
They can what?
They can hold 6 zone already after 10 minutes in game.
Nice.
That's why they're challenger, and that's why jungle is the most carry role, because they influence so much in the early game. And when you win the early and you have good people with good minds,
Yeah.
it just snowball really fast.
Nice.
Okay, so first thing,
Yeah.
you have to go for the in-game time at 3 minutes.
In-game time 3 minutes. Okay.
Yes, it's when you die for Kassadin.
Got it.
You can go a little bit down, like 2 minute 50 or something, and we can just pause there, and we can go through, and then after, just me and you think about it, make you just question your play there.
Okay.
Not really gonna talk about it. I'm gonna
Um,
talk after you. So
this is
Mhm.
well, hold on. I'm gonna stop my recording and start a new one because we've already gone over a lot of information.